After revealing Tabitha and Jade's deeper links to Miranda and Christopher, from Season 4 will need to address a villainous Christopher moment that could all be a misunderstanding. From Season 2, it became clear that Jade had some peculiar similarities to a former resident named Christopher, who had similarly been obsessed with the mysterious symbol when Victor was a boy. Then, from Season 3, Tabitha discovered that she had numerous similarities to Victor's mother, Miranda, who died over 40 years prior on the same night as Christopher. As it turns out, their parallels were anything but coincidental. From Season 3's ending uncovered numerous truths about Farmville's dark history, including that the location has a supernatural cyclical nature tied to the tragic deaths of the Ankui children. Ultimately, it's revealed that Tabitha and Jade are reincarnations of Miranda and Christopher, and have both been to Farmville numerous times across their various past lives. This revelation explains the many odd links between the characters, but also makes some past details about Miranda and Christopher more confusing. For instance, was Christopher really behind the massacre during Victor's childhood? Miranda and Christopher's real connection from hints that he wasn't responsible for the town's massacre. The monsters would have been trying to stop Christopher from finding out the truth. Since Victor was the sole survivor of the town's massacre when he was a child, From's current cast of characters only knows about that era in Farmville's history through his memory, much of which has been suppressed. When Victor explained the backstory of Christopher from Season 2, he revealed that, one night when he was a child, Miranda brought him and his sister, Eloise, to hide in the root cellar. Miranda had told Victor that Christopher didn't know about the root cellar, so he wouldn't be able to find them there. Eloise and Victor were instructed to stay there all night, but Eloise followed Miranda while Victor stayed. When he woke up the next morning, everyone in town was dead, including Miranda and Eloise. Since Miranda had told Victor to hide from Christopher, it was implied that Christopher was responsible in some way for the massacre, even though the residents had been killed by From's nocturnal monsters. The implications of this story positioned Christopher as a villain, especially since Victor said he became more withdrawn prior to the massacre, but from Season 3's revelations about Jade called that characterization into question, though Victor noted that Christopher wasn't listening to the boy in white's message about how the answers to the end are in the beginning. It didn't seem like he would have become angrily involved in killing the rest of the town. From reveals that Christopher and Jade are technically the same person, and the symbol wasn't manipulating them into executing some atrocity in Farmville. Rather, the symbol was a way to get them to remember their past lives and purpose, which wouldn't be fulfilled by a massacre. Therefore, it seems unlikely that Christopher was actually responsible for that tragedy. From Season 4 can finally show what really happened with Christopher during the monsters' massacre. Christopher's role is only revealed through Victor's fractured memories. Christopher looks upset from Season 3, Episode 4. There are still numerous unanswered questions from Season 4 to address, and some important ones involve the loose ends of the Jade, Christopher and Tabitha Miranda reveal. Victor was able to remember what the boy in white told Christopher and what his mother said about Christopher on the night she died, but he was just a child, and wasn't aware of the full scope of their connections to Farmville. Rather, from Season 4 still needs to dig deeper by showing that timeline from the perspective of Miranda and Christopher, whose memories Tabitha and Jade have now unlocked. Since so many details about that night remain muddled, it seems likely that from Season 4 will follow up on the twists about Miranda and Christopher with a more extensive flashback. Quick flashbacks have already been used to show Miranda's death, Christopher talking with the boy in white, and Miranda leaving Victor and Eloise, but From has yet to show exactly what Christopher was doing on that night. To officially clarify his role in the tragedy, From Season 4 needs to include a flashback to Christopher's point of view leading up to and during the massacre. From hints at more flashbacks to Tabitha and Jade's past lives in Season 4. Jade and Tabitha are the through lines for From's cyclical history. Not only does the reveal about Tabitha and Jade set up a deeper exploration of Miranda and Christopher's timeline, but it also justifies having more flashbacks and glimpses into their other past lives. The most important flashback would be to Tabitha and Jade's original iterations in Farmville as the parents of one of the murdered Ankui children, which would better explain why they were the only ones who tried to stop the sacrifice and what led them to fail in their mission to save their daughter. Each of these lives and past failures contributes to their urgency in finally getting it right during the present timeline, which would have a stronger execution if From explored some of Tabitha and Jade's other past iterations. Since the deaths of the Ankui children hold the answers to getting out of Farmville and ending the cycle that Tabitha and Jade's souls are trapped in, it's crucial for From to more directly depict the timeline of when it all began.